Hello and welcome to the Non-Ec Nonsense podcast, a show where the hosts are just as sane as the mystery pooper at Pearl Studios. I am Kat Gold.
I am Michael Matadomini. 10 fucking episodes into this goddamn bullshit. 10 goddamn episodes. Anyways, we have a lovely guest on today. He is handsome Squidward in everyone's hearts down here in South Florida. My own Sky Masterson, Sean Davis.
Um, you've already done something that I absolutely hate. Exists. No, Sean William Davis, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing in this industry that no one seems to get right. It's always Sean William Davis. And everyone goes by Sean Davis.
Well, now to everyone listening, we know.
There you go.
I'm Kathleen Gold, but no one can say it, and they were calling me Caitlin at auditions. That's why I'm Kat Gold now. It's simply because people keep fucking it up.
Right.
People can't get my last name, so we're fine.
I remember one time I was doing, I think it might have been Pirates of Penzance at the WIC, and you know how they put like their headshots in the lobby, and I always said like, I signed my contract to Sean William Davis. Please address me as Sean William Davis. And in the lobby, it was Sean William, and then in the playbill it said William Davis. And I was like, well, we're 50% right.
God damn it!
Like they got it technically. Yeah.
I'm just
Call me Sean Davis.
So Sean Williams Davis, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Hi, buddy. I'm good. I'm thankful to be on this podcast. I really like what you guys are doing. I think this podcast needed to happen a lot earlier, but I wouldn't pick any other two people to run it besides you guys. So I love you both.
We love you. The theater community needed someone taking the piss out of our
Right.
jobs.
And can I say, this is okay? So if anyone doesn't know, we're all together right now. We're recording. They actually do have a set that they haven't set up yet. When they get to video, it's actually in the old Broward Stage Doors Theater 2. We're in the dark right now, but Kevin Black is in the wings getting ready for his next review style show that we're very excited for. I broke. I'm kidding. We're on Zoom.
Like anyone believed it in the first place, Sean. They were probably sitting there like, "Oh, really? I wonder how much it is to rent that out."
The mold is nice and rampant. The rats are scurrying.
The baby monitor is loud and proud.
Right.
Well,
that's how I met Kat. I met Kat way back in the day in the good old Broward Stage Door. So,
well, what was your first impression of her then?
Oh God.
What did we do? I think, did we do Saturday Night Fever? Or did you do 9 first? No, you did 9 first. Okay,
I did 9 first. Yeah,
I saw.
But we met through Thomas. During Most Happy Fella.
I don't remember you.
Thank you so much. I'll see myself out.
I think in terms of that, the Most Unhappy Fella, that production was very cursed.
Yep.
We can go into that later, but it was very cursed. So I kind of block out a lot of people that I met and stuff like that. Though I do love the show, and it's it's a hidden treasure for me. But no, I don't remember you at all. But I do remember watching 9 and loving your performance. I was like, who is this girl? She is too talented for this stage. So it was very nice. And so when I found out that we were going to do Saturday Night Fever together, I was very, very happy. And then I got to see you in your big wig, just riffing, on the stage. It was great. It was a lovely time.
Big wig, big platforms. You slathered in self tanner.
So I think the part that I do remember of meeting you for the first time, it's lovely. So there you go, Michael. It's a lovely experience. And we really bonded, I think. Kat and I got Chipotle together a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were a little couple. It was great.
We ate a lot. We the amount of videos I feel like we have somewhere where we would always film like another duo in whatever shows we were in, and then it would switch to us
Oh
always
yeah,
eating
like
Chipotle.
the like showmance that's
Yeah,
happening like in the corner that like no one wants to know about, and then it just like then it zooms
us.
to us where we're just like, okay. Yeah. It's good.
Okay,
Well,
well,
well, well before Michael Matadami's time. He was still working at like a movie theater or
the
trailer park.
trampoline
The
park.
trampoline park. What year? I'll tell you specifically.
It was
2017,
2017.
2018.
I was still in high school. There you go.
Oh god.
We're fucking old.
No, we're not. No, all the older people listening to this are like, no, you're not. We're not.
I feel old though.
I stand up, but I'm not old.
Okay, so let's actually get started instead of just like shooting the shit, which is honestly the whole point of this podcast. But we try to keep things together. So
I think one thing with my ADHD is that I will definitely go on a tangent and then forget whatever you asked me. So you can always remind me, be like, Sean, we talked about this, and I was like, oh, okay. So you can definitely pull me back so I can remember what we talked about.
there's no guarantees we'll even remember.
Fair.
So, but okay. So to get started, how did you get into the arts? Like, what was your like intro into the arts? How did you get into it?
That's a good all the way back. All the way. I was 10. So I guess that's like a good age for guys, but maybe I always feel like girls are like, I started doing ballet when I was 2 years old. I started when I was 10 with my sister. We did the Bard Center for Performing Arts camps. It was like Peter Pan and like Golden Musical. And I loved it. I really did. I thought it was kind of dumb. And I think my mom put me in there as kind of like, please get out of the house for a few weeks. And maybe you'll like theater. And I really liked it. And then the next year they did Seussical the Musical. And I remember I was like a strong man in the circus. And they gave me like these powder blue tights that had like gold sequins and glitter and rhinestones and all these like really pretty tights. But it totally showed my whole religion. And I was like 11 years old. And I was like, I quit theater. I'll never do it again. I still hate Seussical the Musical to this day because of it. But yeah, and then just like then the middle school like musical was happening, and then I was like, maybe I'll do it because my sister was doing it. I'm lucky to have a twin that appreciates the arts because she kind of helped me when I was like nervous getting into it. So like then I did it in middle school, and then musicals and thespians in high school, and then I thought I was going to be done. So getting into it professionally was very different than how I started, for sure.
So you were born and raised in Florida, stayed here?
I was Hollywood, Florida. 2 pounds 9 ounces. If you're curious, it was 2 months yeah, no, I was. It's definitely weird being born here and then like working here my entire life. Like I've never done an out of the state contract, which is bananas. I've only worked here.
Well, until the ship.
Until the ship. Yeah. Until the cruise ship. But it's still, never a regional theater in the country. Always down here.
Yeah, buddy, we need to get you out of the state of Florida. Peace and love, peace and love.
Peace and love.
So what was your first professional show then?
Okay, very, very quickly. I went to school. I didn't know anything about theater. I thought there was like Broadway tours, Broadway, and then like a community theater every once in a while. I didn't know regional theaters existed.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that you had to like audition for musicals, like for musical theater programs. I didn't know anything. My high school wasn't really into the arts. It was mainly like football and sports. Or as what is it, Tommy Paduano calls sports skitball. And yeah, I went to UCF for volleyball and like accounting. And then I came back down and I was taking lessons, like singing lessons. And my singing teacher at the time was like, hey, Marquee Theater Company is doing Fiddler on the Roof, and they need a Fiedka. And if you don't remember Marquee Theater Company, anyone, it was run by Ben Salmar, rest in peace, and Andrew Schultz at the time. And yeah, I remember going in and singing completely a cappella and not knowing what anything was. But yeah, that was my first show. They cast me as Fiedka and Fiddler on the Roof. And then from there, I think I've just benefited from being a guy in musical theater.
You and me both.
Because immediately after that show, they were like, "Hey, we need a guy for Most Happy Fella." Like, I didn't know that season auditions were a thing. I didn't know what a headshot and resume was at the time. Like, if you could start in the theater scene as green as humanly possible, that was me. I'm still finding out about regional theaters down here.
It's like I didn't even know that existed. Jesus.
Right.
You can get paid to do
have
this.
Have sheet music for an audition. That's crazy.
I remember when I got Grease for the, I got my contract for Grease. It said, $400 a week, and I was like, "What's this for?" And Marcy was like,
Right.
"We pay you to act," and I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" I was like, "No way."
I know. And then I'll talk to my religion teacher that still comes to all of my shows, bless her heart. And she's like, "Maybe one day you'll get paid for this," and I'm like, maybe one day.
That's so someone came up to me during Disenchanted and was like, "Man, you're like really talented. I hope like this will be your job one day." And I'm like, what? "It is, ma'am. It is.
It is, ma'am."
I know it doesn't look like it, but it is.
Right.
Oh my God. But so I just want to quickly talk about the Pasta Carbonaras, the Carbonell Awards.
Oh yeah,
you were nominated this year. Congratulations!
Congrats, buddy.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be a Carbonell loser?
Yeah, Here's one thing. I never like awards. Period. Especially when it comes to like if it's awards for like sports, it's like the best team usually wins, and like it's proven. There might be some bullshit along the way, but like when it's subject to art, I don't really like when there's judging to that. So like when I got nominated, I was like, "Oh, cool," but then also I was like, I don't care if I win or lose. So no, I don't really care that I am a loser. I can, I think I had a huge chance of losing anyway, just because I thought that everyone in my category was very good. So I was already well prepared. So when they didn't call my name, I was like, "Yep, that makes sense." However, I will say that like my show Forum cleaned up.
You guys clean sweep.
I remember shaking or giving Andrew Cato a hug at the end, and I was like, "Oh my God, like we killed it!" And I was like, "Sucks that I didn't." Like, I'm the only one. I was like, me and I think our director, didn't get one. I was like, shit.
It was like my brother at the Dream Awards for the high schoolers and shit. Like Pippin got nominated for Best Musical. Pippin won Best Musical, and my brother didn't get nominated at all for Best Lead, and he was Pippin.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where like I look back on and I'm like, what? Because like even just like some of the things that were nominated for Best Musical, and I'm not saying that any of them weren't deserved and that they weren't good productions, but like there was a few that were nominated for Best Musical and then had no actors at all nominated for anything. And I didn't think that was necessarily, fair for them, or I just thought it was weird. They're like, that's the best production, even though they're not nominated for anything else. Like it's just that. I don't know. I don't really know their grading rubric. All I know is that it does need to change. Carbonell.
Yeah.
That's what talk about.
Yeah,
but it was a fun night. I think they did a really good job running it. The only one time that I'd been to the Carbonells before, it was like over 4 hours long, and I think that thing ended at like 2 hours exactly.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. it was a little awkward though, because like a lot of people from Fort Lauderdale and especially Miami show up.
Mm-hmm.
They really make the travel,
Yeah.
and just because I was representing the malts and stuff like that, but because the malts does hire a lot of out of town people, and
Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
the Jupiter, I was the only one there supporting the theater besides like Andrew Cato. So like
That's
anytime,
crazy.
and especially that like the malts won like an award for, I think, like the way that they like outreach to their community, stuff like that. It was well, it's very well deserved. I do think that they're doing fantastic things, but they like, instead of like a speech in the beginning, they said like a paragraph for every theater. So instead of like a 10-minute speech, they made the Carbonells Forever, and they were like following their $42 million expansion, and like once they said that, the crowd was like, you know what I mean? And like anytime like they would flash nominations for anything, they'd be like, I don't know, random Miami theater, wow, and then the random Fort Lauderdale theater, wow, and then malts,
Crickets.
and then it was like me going, ooh, you know, it was awkward. And then like as they kept winning things, it was even more awkward. I was like, I forgot how much everyone hated them,
No,
which sucks because
it's
I do think that they do a good. I do think that they are a lovely company. So it does suck. I know that. I know where people are coming from because I feel like I used to be those people were like I just didn't understand the situation, but
yeah. Yeah, no. But don't feel weird. You've joined a great group of all of us losers. All of us Carvanel
right,
losers.
right. I'm very glad.
Like,
It
yeah,
it
no.
was nice.
My year, I literally was like, as soon as I was nominated, I was like, cool. And then I looked at who I was nominated against and I went, nice to be in good company, not gonna win. And
Dude,
everyone's like, you could win. And then I said the person who did win, and they were like, oh yeah, no, that person's gonna
who
win.
won?
It was Mallory. Mallory for Beehive. The Janice
Yeah,
Joplin. Yeah, no,
yeah.
everyone,
I pay
every single
attention.
person, I was like, I'm up against Valerie, and they're like, you're not gonna get it. And
I
I
think
was like,
that
it just got plastered. As soon as my category happened, and I was like, as
right.
soon as I lose, we're knocking shots back. So as soon as that called, me and like Elijah started drinking, we were like,
Right,
let's
right.
go.
But I think Elijah won that year for.
Yeah, he did. He was sitting next to me. He was like, oh shit, I gotta sober up.
Fuck, I love Elijah. The one thing I think about it, like there was no name like out of anyone in my category that like it wasn't like a Jenny Hacker or like a Mallory.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, and it could be literally anyone's game. The guy that won it, it was the only person that I didn't know. It was from the area stages Little Mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like it got great reviews, and I talked to the guy afterwards. He was really nice, but they said that they
Yeah.
were like tour with the production. I was like, oh shit! So area stage, they're doing really good stuff. So
Yeah.
I,
Oh,
I don't want to ever be butthurt for losing to something that I didn't truly ever care about in the beginning. But I will say that it was nice to get the recognition.
yeah.
It was nice to see the theater get recognized, because I do think that everyone that won from Forum, it was well deserved. So
Taking the L like a
So
true Chad, Sean. Taking the L like a true Chad, my friend.
you know
speaking of a
what?
true
Bullshit. No kidding.
speaking of taking it like a
I'm
true
kidding. I'm
Chad,
kidding.
the last thing about the Carbonells I just want to bring up, and I'm going to insert a photo here. Do you want to discuss your wardrobe choice?
Oh yeah, of course. I looked good. I don't know what you're talking about. It was funny. Okay, for those people that aren't still listening, I wore a blue suit, and that's it. I didn't wear a shirt with my blue suit. And
Was
I
the
liked
Met
it.
Gala for Sean Davis. It was good.
Oh my God! Sorry. I have to wear a shirt. Let me be creative.
I didn't mind. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, I wanted to show a little chest hair, and I had a really cool necklace, so I was like, I want to show it off. The it was funny. All the the gay men came up to me and they're like, "We're fundraising for your shirt," and I was like, "Okay." And then this one old woman was like, "Show us," and she was right next to Jarrell, and Jarrell's like, "Yeah, Sean, show us."
Show
and
us.
like licking her gums, being like, "Come on, open up the buttons." And I opened up a little bit. She's like, "Finally."
Oh my god.
It was like the most action she had ever gotten in 30 years. So the moment that happened, I was like, maybe this wasn't the best choice.
You just slowly button it back up. You're like, damn it.
Right. I slowly buttoned it up, and then I put on a parka.
Oh my god.
And then
Well, that was certainly a funny moment, but I would like you to bring up a funny moment, your favorite funny moment from a time you were on stage.
Okay. Oh, just in general? Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
God. That's not fair. There's so many. Can we make it into 2 parts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Funniest moment that happened to me, and then funniest moment that I witnessed on stage of like other people.
Perfect.
I feel like that's important. Funniest thing happened to me, and I don't even know if like I'm not a funny person, but I was doing Groundhog Day, and I was supposed to be this drunk guy at the bar, and I would wear this big wig. I'll send you the photo so you can insert it. And I was this drunk guy at the bar, and it was me and Clay Cartland, and like at the end of our little song, we have to take a shot. And then like I stumble away from the bar and I go, oh God, I'm so drunk I can't even walk. I'll get the truck. And that's it. But I remember like one show I took a shot, and I tossed my head back and I brought it back up, and I was like, I'm a lot lighter. And then I realized that my wig had flown off my head. And I like just looked at the audience. I was like, I'm so drunk I lost my hair. So then, and then I just put the keys directly in the wig cap and I just walked off stage. I think that's probably like the funniest thing that's happened to me. I do think that no matter what I do, people will always find a way to grab my butt.
Yeah.
So that's like I feel like that's the challenge in South Florida theater. They always try to grab my butt.
I was blocked to do so in Guys and Dolls. That was not a
okay.
I really want to no. I was not gonna grab you without being told by someone to.
You have to ask Sean before, and then if he grants you permission, then you go.
Everyone gets one. Okay, so funniest thing that's happened to someone. God, I don't want to out someone. There's so many times that there have been funny moments. I remember doing Kat and I did Lacage. I'll bring it to something that we did together.
Yeah, and you were the naked waiter.
Oh my God.
That show you were probably harassed like nobody's business.
Because that was the most harassment I ever got. Instead of this is the most funniest thing happens, the most harassment I've ever gotten on stage. Bruce Linzer, a nice man, but oh my God, he was like, what would be crazy if like Lacage had Chippendales? And I was like, that would be crazy, Bruce. That would be absolutely insane. And so
Michael, stop writing. We're leaving this in.
He literally had.
This was on stage. We are leaving this in.
It's okay because it happened. There was literally pictures.
The name drop.
I guess I'll insert picture here. I guess, so you can see my costume. I wore nothing. I wore black pants, white cuffs, and I think a white
neck like a white collar with like a bow tie. Right.
Right.
It was it was Chippendales.
It was literally, and it was me and a guy that was way more muscular than me at the time. I remember I dropped 20 pounds in a month when I found out that he needed me shirtless. And I was like, I'm not. So I literally ate only celery and salads. I dropped 20 pounds. It was not healthy. But I remember like we had to go through the audience in the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. And he just wanted to make it like we were in La Cage aux Folles, like in the cafe, whatever it is. Set the scene. And I hate doing that shit. And I think it's tacky as hell. But I was like, fine. And I would walk around with like a little waiter's tray. And I would be like, oh, can I offer you anything from the menu? I recommend me. Little things like that. And I would do like push-ups and stuff like that. and that just like invited everyone to touch me. I remember one time I was like about to do my push-ups on like the stairs, and this old woman was like ruffling through her bag, and I'm like doing push-ups, and I'm like, hey, the show's right here or whatever, and she looks up, grabs my chin, and pulls me close to her face and goes, uh, so then
I'm
I
triggered.
threw up in my mouth, and I walked on stage. I was like, not even way well before my time of like to walk on stage. I was like, nope, I'm not doing this shit anymore. Not for $400 a week. Not for no. Too
It's
far.
just it's just wild. Sometimes they like the craziest shit. Like when I did Rocky Horror, we would be stripping at the beginning during the overture. We'd be like pole dancing in the beginning. And like I had to like a guy came up to me, like a patron, and grabbed my ass. And I literally like almost slapped him, was like started just barking at him, like, don't you dare
Right.
fucking touch me. I'm a goddamn actor. Da, 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 da. And like I am not actually a fucking stripper. You are not paying me. Da, 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 da. So like it
You are not paying me. Oh, so he can grab your ass if he pays you.
listen.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not. You cannot touch me if you don't pay me $20, and you can have a nice grab.
Listen, I'm more expensive than $20. Jesus Christ.
Sorry,
Don't put me so low.
I did matter down these rates. I'm sorry.
Negative
Yeah.
20, buddy. I'll do that shit for free, my guy. I'll
There
pay you
you
20
go. There you
bucks.
go. I think
Go.
so. I think in Lacage, it's just one of those things where we've worked with a lot of theaters, and like the director has a certain vision, and then it doesn't pan out. And it's just like sometimes it's budget, sometimes it's practicality. But they made these, and I don't know if you remember, Kat. They made these backpacks for all of the Kajels to wear.
Oh, I
They were
remember.
really big and they were really heavy, and they just came
Mhm.
on like backpacks, and they were very long, and they looked very cool. In each
Yeah.
Kajel, and Bruce's vision was that like I don't know if they were doing "We Are What We Are" or something like that, but they were going to come out in these backpacks as like a runway, and then "We Are What We Are," and then they was going to fly away because they had wings.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then the
no.
theater was like, we don't have anyone. We have one person to like do and like a rigging like that. We don't have 6 or 7 people. And then we're like, oh, well, I guess we got to scrap that idea.
If
But
they
like
were
they
in
were,
one line, they could have done it, but they were staggered across the stage. So like it would take more than one rail. And that was
I
like
don't
the
know.
issue.
I think even if they were one line and one rail, I think that Alpaca team would be like, there's 6 people. I can't do it. Bless them. They're all fired now, so it doesn't matter. But because they spent so much money on these backpacks that they were like Larry Buzzio was Zaza or whatever her name is, and they like they had to have her wear one.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that she was doing, I think it was "I Am What I Am," which is like the most heartbreaking song at the end of the show, and she's like wearing this big black backpack that it's just so cumbersome. It makes no sense, and she's running up the staircase to like finish her big note, and she trips, and she was like, whatever, and she screams, and I was just like, that absolutely sucks. It was really funny at the time, and like Larry was a good sport about it, but like watching someone fall will always make me laugh, as terrible as it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
real quick, I have to interject because this made me think of something. After Cat fell,
Is it me?
Yeah, after Cat fell in Greece, Larry Buzzio was like, "Oh, same boat,
same stage." Yeah, there's got to be like a wet spot or something like that. I remember in Crazy for You, we had a car. We had like a car that like drove on stage. It was an electric car, and it had no engine. And so near the end of the show, it was just like a stupid plot point, but like near the end of the show, the car comes back on stage, upstage, and they're like, "It's broken down. We can't fix it."
Oh, I remember some of this nonsense from you guys with the car.
And so like as the scene continued, a few actors would be like, well, let me see. And they'd pop open the engine and they would like pretend to go in and try to fix it, even though, again, there's no engine. And the shit that we would do to that car. We would put, at first it started with very simple of just putting like different actors that weren't in the scene in it. So they like, you'd open up the hood and you'd be like, hi, Josh. And we're like, hello. But then it became like, it became like we put like gay nudie mags in that, so that like when the lead actor opened it up, anything to try to make him break. And Matt Lair is like a huge Broadway guy. He's very professional, so it's very hard to make him break. But the one time we did was in the matinee. We had a giant teddy bear in the car, and again, it was just like a little girl's giant teddy bear, and he opens it up and he's like, oh, cute. And then on the like 8 p.m. show, he opens it up and that teddy bear has tape on its mouth and a huge black dildo around it. And like, and it's just like, I don't know if it had anything to say, but it got him. That's the one that got him. So it was just nice to be like, what are we going to do today in the car? That was probably the most fun I've had.
Speaking of a fun moment that I had with you, Sean, we did a little gig together right after Guys and Dolls. We did a Grease superfan event with our good friend Jonathan Van Dyke, and we were all playing different Grease characters, and my man Sean Davis over here was the tallest Danny Zuko I've ever seen in my life.
I was the tallest, whitest, blondest Danny Zuko ever.
Exactly. And we get to this event, and Sean looks at me and he goes, I don't know the opening lyrics to Grease. And I was like, well, little buddy, I just did the show. So let me like figure out how to do this for you. And we're holding hand mics. And he goes, just write the opening couple of words on my finger. And then like, when I'm singing in it, then like I'll get the rest of it after I start singing the first couple of words.
Right.
And I was like, bet. So I did. And we go out and we talk to everyone first, and we're all flirting up a storm like idiots.
Can I say that when we would go through this cocktail hour, we were like, "Oh, I'm Danny," and everyone would go, "What?"
Everyone in that room was wearing a pink ladies jacket. They were all. I think dressed also
up. Was funny, and again, bless the person that made that event. But the person that booked it, they're like, oh, they do this all the time, right? And he was like, yep, all the time. And we literally like learned it the night before. Or like we walked into that event and we're like, oh, you're going to do choreography here and choreography there and just have a good time. Yeah. But yeah, no, there's one thing I've always been really bad with memorizing lyrics, especially when like the songs are like the verses are very similar.
Yes. So, fair play.
And Michael, like, a true friend wrote these lyrics down for me on my hand. And I was like, great, I'm going to look at these. And I don't care if it doesn't look professional. And like, again, I'm holding the mic so I can just like look like I'm looking at the mic while I'm singing. And I forgot that I have this thing where I have attention problems and I start looking at a phrase and then I go, I got it. And then I just stop reading halfway through. And especially because like we started singing Grease is the Word, and like that's a very, very popular song.
Yeah.
And I just, again, I'm not joking when I tell you I've never butchered a line more. I literally was like, there ain't no problems they can feel like we feel. We gotta feel right now so they can feel what we feel. Which is the word.
And the thing is, I opened that shit up. I started, I saw my problems and I see the light. And then I get to the point where Sean's supposed to take over. And I turn around all slick. And I'm like, well, bam, go get him, buddy. And then that comes out of his mouth. And I just turn back around and I'm like, do I sing now over? And the thing is, I have this recording. We can insert it here, or I'm going to see if it plays over. No. Because it is still the ringtone on my phone 2 years later, that when anyone gives me a phone call, it's Sean Williams Davis fucking up the lyrics to Grease. So here we are.
No, you don't have to insert it.
There ain't no danger, we can feel what we feel. We start believing now, so we can feel what we feel.
That wasn't whatever. That wasn't in the show. That was like recorded at an Applebee's afterwards.
Yeah. I was like, hey Sean,
He
real
was like,
quick.
you got to record it for me in the bathroom so I can have it forever. Yeah, that was probably the biggest. I think I pride myself on like being professional and consistent, but that was the biggest fuck up I think I've ever done in my life. I've never butchered something so bad, and to watch the entire patrons of this event go, "What the fuck?" collectively, tough.
They're all dressed up. Not a single person in that room didn't know the lyrics. So they were all ready to jam the fuck out. And there's just this big, tall, white, blonde boy fucking up Danny Zuko.
Yeah.
It was
That's
priceless.
Not the word. Yeah, it was.
That's not the word. That's not the word with Sean Williams Davis.
Right. Oh my God, it's William.
Oh my God, Williams Davis. Oh my God, look
William. William.
William. Yeah.
Oh my God. But
there's been some good times. There's been some good times in these Florida theater for sure.
I'm not going to get into what the present was, but Sean Williams Davis. I got to get used to it.
It's
Sean
William.
Williams Davis gave me the best. Hold on.
Idiot.
This guy gave me the best closing night gift I have still gotten in all of my 2 years of being a professional actor. This man still holds the title of the best gift for sure.
We can't put this in here.
I'm not telling you what the gift is, but it was a great gift.
All right, everyone. It was a blowjob.
And I paid him $20.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What can I say? I've got good pipes.
Jesus Christ.
Michael Harper's listening to this podcast like, did he really?
I can't believe it. No, Michael Harper would go, I always knew. I had a feeling.
Just a small little inkling. There it is.
Yeah.
Holy
Okay,
fuck.
so we talked about funniest moments. Can we, just because it's the one thing that really unites all of us actors is horrible auditions. Do you have any audition horror stories?
Oh, I do. Well, like I said, I learned how to do theater on my own. So like, even though like I don't like the Carbonells of just like awards, I was proud of myself because I'm like, oh, I learned what a resume and a headshot was, and now like I'm recognized. So I've come a long way. But boy, did I do some weird things when I was first starting out, because I didn't know what sheet music was at the time. And I remember, I'm not joking when I think there's 2 instances that I'll remember specifically of things that I should not have done. The first one was Palm Beach Drama Works. They were doing Sweeney Todd years ago. And this was, I'm not joking, I literally think I finished Fiddler on the Roof and I did The Most Happy Fella. And I only technically auditioned once, and it was like a cappella for Fiddler on the Roof. So like I didn't know what sheet music was. And so when they were like, oh, you need sheet music to audition, I was like, oh, okay, got it. And I had like a audition time, and I was like, oh, cool, whoa, an audition time. That's so fancy. And I drove all the way up to Palm Beach Drum Works from Hollywood, and it took me forever. I passed so many accidents to the point where like my audition time was at like 3:30 p.m. and I got there at 6 p.m. It took me like 4 hours to get to the theater, and I didn't know, and so like literally like I'm like walking through the door, and like the directors are packing their bags and getting ready to leave. And they're like, we have one more, and they're like, okay, and so already set to fail. And I was like, okay, I'm going to sing. I did Agony from Into the Woods because I wanted a Sondheim song. I did it in like high school for Thespians. So I was like, oh, I know that Sondheim song, so I'll do that. And it's a terrible audition song. It's so bad. It doesn't show off anything. So I remember like I had sheet music for that, and I knew it. And then the second song, because they wanted contrasting. It's nice that they even let me do the second song. And they were like, what's your second song? And I did something that day that I'll never do ever again, was whatever song that I had picked that I like kind of knew.
Mm-hmm.
The night before, I like went down a little rabbit hole and I saw this one song from this musical called Grand Hotel. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Love Can't Happen. I don't know if anyone knows it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is an amazing song. The song is so good. And so I was like, I have to sing it tomorrow. I've listened to it for a whole hour tonight, so I'm gonna totally know it the next day. And I printed sheet music. And again, I didn't know if it was in the right key, if it wasn't, I didn't know anything. If it sounded like the YouTube video, then I'm like, I'm golden. And Eric Alsford was the piano player, bless his heart. And they were like, oh, what's your second song? And I was like, Love Can't Happen from Grand Hotel, thinking that I've just picked the most hole in the wall song ever. And the director goes, I love that song. And I'm like, fuck me. And I started singing, and I was nervous. And I started singing, and the way the song goes, I can't think of any answers other than if love comes, then love comes, you know. And then a big note, and I know forever. And it's even higher than that. It's very, very high. And I totally forgot all the words. I literally went, I can't think of any lyrics other than if love comes, when love comes, you know. And I remember hitting the you know and thinking, oh my God, this is like really high. I have nowhere to go. And I went, and I know. And I never cracked so hard in my goddamn life.
Oh,
And
no.
I went, thank you. And then I turned around and Eric Osford was like, you had that note. And I was like, no, I didn't. And I totally just cried in my car. I was like, God damn it, John. You'll never make it this town. That one is definitely the most traumatic one that I definitely learned from. And then I think shortly after, again, of me not knowing, looking back, I'm like, you bonehead.
Mm-hmm.
I think it literally was like that might have been like the second audition I've ever done. This was had to be the third. M&M Theater Company was doing Little Shop of Horrors, and so I was like, well, I have to audition. I did it in high school. Kat, do you want to know what part I played in high school?
What part did you play in high school?
I played the plant. I played the plant, and like we know now, that's not good. That's not good. You shouldn't do that as a big white man. But like at the time, I could sing bass, and it was like the only part that like my high school could do. So like I was like, oh, perfect. They're doing Little Shop. I'll audition as the plant. And I literally roll up into that. I roll up into the audition room and I'm like, hey, I'm Sean. And again, they don't know who I am because I'm a no one at this time. And I give my sheet music to Paul Ricci. And he's like, what? And they're like, what do you play? What are you singing? And I was like, I'm going to sing Feed Me. And I think it was Bruce Linzer and like all the other people that are directing it go, no, 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 I don't know, no. And like even Paul's like, no, that's not a good. And I was like, no, I can do it. And they're like, it's not that we don't think you can. We don't think you should. And I was like, why? I was like, I can sing it. And they're like, okay. And so I like then again, not taking a hint from everyone, proceeded to like sing Feed Me in like the most like just bass voice that I could. And then I finished and I still think I crushed it because I was like I crushed it. You know what I mean? I just did exactly what I did in high school. And then again, I like and then I left the audition and I like talked to my parents. I was like, yeah, I crushed it. Totally gonna get the part. And then when they like the cast came out and like a black guy got it, and I was like, what? Like shocked. That's not how things didn't work. I've come a long way. Come a very, very long way.
that just reminds me, and I'll tiptoe around enough details. But the people that know, Sean knows, Michael knows. So I was working for a theater in a show with Sean, and I think it was like we were having a closing party, whatever, we were taken out to dinner. And the producer of that company was like talking to me about the season, the next coming season, was like, I think I'm gonna do Dreamgirls. And I was like, oh, that's really great. Like,
I remember this.
Dreamgirls, this is a fantastic show. They just did it at Stage Door. Like, I have a lot of friends that have just done it. Like, Andre is like he could reprise his part. You know, Andre, like, you know. And she goes, "How'd you like to play Effie?" And I laughed because I was like,
You've already given it away by the delivery.
Yeah,
of
just
how-
I was literally about to say the same thing. I was like, "You're fucking your impression."
Sorry,
of
sorry.
How'd you like to play Effie?
How'd you like to play Effie?
Head bobble and everything.
How'd you like to play Effie?
Since
And
this
I
is all
laughed.
getting cut real quick.
No. I'm not cutting this.
No, this is fine. This is
I'm going
Yeah,
around it.
this person doesn't know what a podcast is. It's okay.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So I laugh. Our table laughs. We're like, oh, you're so funny. You're so funny, producer. And the producer's like, why are you laughing? And I was, and another person at the table was like, oh, maybe because Kat's complexually challenged for the part. And we all laughed. And she's like, what? And I was like, producer, I'm white and Asian. I'm not black. And the producer was like,
and
does that matter?
And it didn't matter in her next 4 or 5 seasons of casting. Hey, you know.
Oh shit.
It happened. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of
God fucking damn
in terms
it.
of, I think, auditioning, I think those two by far were the worst for 2 completely different reasons, of which I've grown tremendously from.
Good for you.
Thank you.
He's grown. He's not trying to be the plan anymore.
Oh yeah.
Sean's changed.
Oh
my goodness.
Sean,
I know. It is funny, like listening to people, because again, I came into this community from playing volleyball, and like very like raised very conservative, like Catholic. I just like went to Catholic school my whole life, so I just was not around a lot of the community, like this very accepting theater community. So like I was just almost like a little uncomfortable by how open and accepting everyone was, because just for my whole life, everyone is just closed off. And I remember like people still come up to me today and they're like, yeah, I remember hating you. And just being like, yeah, you were the worst. And I'm like, okay, but now we love you. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And I'm like, I know I was difficult, but woof. So
Repression and Catholicism.
What?
Repression and Catholicism? Who knew?
Yeah, and guilt and everything. Right. So.
Oh my god.
Not the
if it makes you feel any better, a lot of people hated me. A lot of people still hate me, but a lot of people, they met me and they were like, man, Kat, when I first met you, I thought you were the biggest fucking bitch. Just the biggest bitch. I was like, thank you so much. Thank you for the love and support.
Right.
Oh my god.
It's tough, but you know, whatever. It's one of those things where like I always remember they have to go through life like there is the version of me, and then there's literally 10,000 versions of me. Like every single person has a different view of yourself. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, you can conduct yourself according to how they think, or you can just be your fucking self. And I think back in the day, I would kind of conduct myself how other people thought of me, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm actually a nice person, so I'm just going to conduct myself how I know who I am. And lo and behold, people like me now.
I think that's just how people should hold themselves nowadays, instead of trying to go around and have, you know, this peer pressure as to like, oh my God, everyone needs to like me. And I know that's like hard to get rid of, because I had that feeling in the beginning. But the moment you let go of that, it's like freeing mentally. At least it was for me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
especially as actors, I feel like we always like live, at least like I remember like my first few years like working in the industry, I wouldn't even fucking buy clothing that I couldn't wear for rehearsals and auditions that I thought would make me look like a level of professional, like something, things that weren't really my taste. But
Right.
I was just like, I just want to like, if I package myself in whatever way, I'll be more palatable and therefore more hireable, which is
Right.
so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But
then
you
you
know
grow
what?
up and you stop playing the game.
And the game
I
played
know that's a
you.
big thing. And then yeah, you stop wearing makeup to rehearsals and you stop you start just being like an actual human being that, that just like puts your head down and actually does the good work, It's crazy. But I think that also just comes with maturity.
True.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying that you didn't have it. I'm just saying in general.
No, I didn't have it. Let's be very frank. So I guess to because just kind of like closing off, like, so what is what is one of your dream shows to do? Like dream shows, dream roles.
That's a good question. I think as a person, because like when I walk into a room, I'm always, or like a step on stage, I'm usually like the tallest person, and I'm usually the biggest person, just like size
Mm-hmm.
wise. So like as I've come out of the pandemic, like I even before the pandemic, I really couldn't play teenagers at all, or like young men, but like I really can't even play young men anymore. So I think in like the next few years, definitely transitioning to like just like that adult male, and it kind of just because I have such a resonant voice, that big baritone, even though like it's not necessarily where my voice sits, but just like if anyone thinks that they hear resonance and a deep tone, they're like, oh, a baritone. So probably like these just like bigger baritone roles would probably suit
Mm-hmm.
me nice. Everyone always thinks I love playing a villain. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think my villain era will be very soon. Um,
His villain arc.
I never could play an ingenue. I'm a terrible actor. I don't I don't get it. I don't get how people can do that. Bless them if they can. So I think just honestly, if you just like look at like a musical and you just see the bad guy, I'll probably be going for it. Simple as that. I don't know, because it's like I want to play this part, and like you might get the opportunity, you might not. I remember when I was doing the Most Happy Fella, and I was talking. There was this one part that I like called Joey. It's a really really nice baritone song, and I was like, oh, I want to play this role one time, and the actor was like, you probably won't. And he kind of said it a lot more dickish than I just did. He's like, you won't. He said it like that. And I was like, why? And he's just like, do you think you're ever going to do the show again in your career? And I didn't know that, like, that doesn't really happen. I was crazy that I even got to play Miles twice. So like, I think just, I can't really be like, oh, I want to play this role. I want to play that role. So just honestly, anything that's like very big and intimidating presence, sign me up. Though I will say, um, Bruce Linzer, I called him out on this years ago. We did Lacage,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to play. I was in the ensemble, and I played this one part, this fisherman who hates gays, and then he teaches Alban, whoever, how to be straight. That's like his whole song. To borrow the fisherman, hates gays. And then I proceeded to go under that into a play reading, like a new musical that he was writing about West Virginian coal miners. And they're like, yeah, Sean, you're going to be this big old racist white man. And I'm like, all right, is there like something that's going on? Like everything that you've ever wanted me as has hated something. um, so I don't want to be, I need to be very clear. Love everyone. I want to be the big intimidating presence, but I don't want to be the racist man. If potential, I don't want people to look at me and be like, he'd be a great racist. So I don't want that. I don't want that.
So God's Country is not a show that's on your bucket
No,
list?
I know. Even just like I was doing ragtime pre-pandemic, and I was with Slowburn, and I was younger brother, and like now, like I could never like be the part. Like they'd probably cast me as like Willie Conklin, the guy who like does all the terrible things, you know. I've now accepted that I am getting a little older, even though like, you know, at the end of my life. But it's just like, you know, so anything that's big and intimidating presence, I would say. That's the most fun.
Great. Well, what do you got coming up, buddy?
Do you have any dream roles? Do you have any dream roles for me? Would you like to see me in something, Kathleen K?
Damn, using my government name. Kathleen K, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go fuck myself. It's just Kat's opinion on this one.
Yeah. Well, I think more Sondheim is in your future. I think that's a very big thing. I would love to see you in Company.
There we go. Yeah, I think anything. Yeah, there you go. That guy's, and you know what? That's not the racist. That's you've done it. You've cast me not as the racist.
The plant story from earlier is not going to help your case, by the way.
Well, like I said,
he's grown. He's grown.
I've grown from it. Feed me. I've grown. I've definitely.
Don't worry. Soon enough, you'll be either dentist or mushnik.
Oh my god, we already know what we did. Yeah. Hey, you want to be You want to be mushnik? No.
I want to see you personally, Sean, as Shakespeare in Something Rotten.
There you go.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
I would love to see that shit.
Right.
Oh
that'd
my
be fun.
goodness.
Anything that I could like pop my chest open, you know.
Yeah.
Like real quick, I'm gonna sign this contract, but question: can my costume be what I wore to the Carbonells? like sign me on.
Can it be? You saw what I wore to the Carbonells. Can it be less?
As long as it's a tearaway top, I'm gonna be fine.
Right.
Can I have a mix of that waiter costume from Lacage? A mix of the waiter costume from Lacage and what I wore to the Carbonells, please. That's what I would like to wear. Let's get that done.
My god, I don't want to do that because I had to contour my abs, and I didn't even have it.
Wait, for the Carbonells or for Lacage? As I remember Lacage, but
Lacage. No.
I was like,
not the Carbonells. God, no. That would be so embarrassing.
Listen, let me just give a shout out to Michael, because Michael really restrained himself by not impersonating you the entire episode.
Yes. I do. I've heard this theme going on that you either insert me into every episode or try to talk to me. Again, I think, going back to that, Michael does have a good impersonation of me doing my terrible Sky Masterson. But that's just because, and I told our lovely producer, I was like, I will play this part for you. However, I don't think that I am like age appropriate yet. Especially Nathan Detroit was played by Larry Bussio. He did a great job, but I'm at the time I was like, I'm 27 and Larry's in his 50s. I was like, and then there's like parts in the script where they're like, hey, Sky, you know, I've known you a long time. And it's also like, where did Sky get his money? Like Bitcoin? Like, it's just one of those things where like, it's like the Sky that got his money from NFTs, like, and like a trust fund. Yeah, so when he had that like, hey guys, you know, whatever voice that I did, I was just trying to be older, which was terrible time. Loved that production.
I think that Non-Ec Nonsense should start a petition to go ahead and reinvent Guys and Dolls, but with modern shit. Like, it just needs to be a modernized version.
Like,
of Guys
with
and Dolls.
like a male
Bitcoin, and Adelaide is working for OnlyFans, and
instead of going to Havana, they go to a club in Miami. Like, you know, it's
oh
just a really solid. It's a solid fucking show already.
Yeah, what would be the Salvation Army?
What's that church? What's that church
Valid.
that all the theater people sing at?
Unity.
Yeah.
I only know about that because Katie's literally singing out there like tomorrow. Wait, I have a funny story from singing at Unity. I sang Impossible Dream there. I've sung there twice. And the first time that I sang there, they were like, "Oh, I want you to sing the Impossible Dream." The guy, the head guy there, I can't say pastor because it's not the reverend, I guess. He was an old actor in the day, and so like he always asks actors to come and sing if you didn't know. And so he like makes some people sing like one or two musical theater songs, sing the house down, and then he puts a nice lesson to it. It's really, really nice. It is a very nice. Like I don't like church because of how scarred I am from religion. However, I do think it is a nice time.
Me too. I'm a recovering Catholic, as I like to refer to myself.
And I do think that they do. It is a nice, accepting, non-culty place. Every religion is culty, but I think that it is a nice place. But however, I think the Impossible Dream, and the way that song works, again, if you don't know that song, especially like there's usually a key change, and this is my quest to follow that star, whatever, and then you finish, and then they finish that, and then go, "This is my quest," and just another key change to finish, and then a huge final note. And I remember rehearsing with the guy, the piano player, before the church started, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, got the good old key change all ready to go. Yeah, okay, let's go." And so like it was my turn to go up, and I've been practicing the song for like a week, and I go up and I start singing, and I guess I kind of like black out from when I'm singing. I get really in the moment, and I guess I did the key change. Like I guess I'm already in that part. Like I already done the key change. I'm nearing the end of the song, but in my blacked out state, I don't realize this. And so I look at the piano player, and he's like looking at me, like smiling, like, "Okay, take it home." But I see this in the moment going, "Oh, this is the key change." And so instead of hitting a big note, I again go, "This is my quest," and then take it another half step or whatever. And the moment that I did that, I see his eyes go like, "What have you done?" And I look at him going, "Oh shit, I fucked up." And he can't play the music. He's like transposing in real time
on the spot. Oh my god!
As I sing it again, and I land the plane, and it looks like even Katie was like, "I had no idea that you fucked up," and I like feel like I was like, "Oh my god," like I was shaking like crazy afterwards, and the Reverend at the end was like, "Oh my god, Sean William Davis, everyone, that was so good." Funny enough, Man of La Mancha was what I got my equity card doing. I did the tour way back in the day. And he just like looked at me the entire time, and you could like tell, like through an unspoken conversation, be like, "I know you just fucked up."
God damn it. The only person that can continue to opt up and opt up and opt up.
Oh my god. I know.
Wait, we before we end, we have to say the opt up story. That's one of the best stories between the two of you.
Oh, this is a good one. So it's it's like the first day of Guys and Dolls rehearsal.
Okay.
And I'm Sean Williams Davis's understudy, and he comes in late to rehearsal because he's got a job and he's got to do his thing. So he shows up, and it's just Sky's music. That's it. And Bobby Pico's at the piano, and he's playing, and Sean's doing his thing, and I'm sitting with Amber and Andrea, and
You also thought I was a dick.
I still think you're a dick, but I love
before
you.
This rehearsal process. You also thought before the rehearsal process started, I'm not outing the person, but you were like, "Do you know this person?" And that person was like, "Oh yeah, he's a dick."
Yes.
So you had already had that thought in your mind.
Do I still think you're a dick? Yes, but you're a lovely dick.
Of course,
okay?
better.
That's
right.
So this man gets up to the piano, and he starts singing "Luck Be a Lady." He's like, question. And he looks at Bobby, and Bobby's like, "Yes." He goes, and then he doesn't ask Bobby a question. He decides for himself. He looks over at me and he goes, "We're gonna opt up." And I was just like, "All right, guess we're doing it." And
The
he
ending is
did.
so boring. It's so boring.
Yeah.
Tonight, it's so boring. I was like, come on, give these 80-year-olds that are seeing the show some excitement.
I mean, the opt-up is iconic. It is.
Yeah, when I hit it correctly. Well, yeah. Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, we're gonna opt up.
We're gonna opt up.
I think also because I was probably nervous too at the time. I was just like, oh my god, someone's watching me. So
Gonna have this little fucking booger watching me the whole entire rehearsal process and then still not know any of his shit when it was ready to go.
Oh my god. I will go to Michael Matadomini now. Again, I do think Michael is a wonderful professional to work with. I hope he gets as many things as he can. But goddamn, were you not prepared to understudy me? And I know because I have understudied a lot of people at the time. So I was like, hey, I've understudied a lot of people and you're my understudy. Let me prepare you to make sure, just in case something happens. I don't know. It's COVID. And so I would be like, hey, do the cider monologue. And you would be like, no, not today. You'd be like, apple cider, vinegar man. Oh, there's an ace in the hole. And that's my time.
And the thing is, it was my second professional production ever. And I've never understudied anyone before. So I was kind of like getting into the swing of like how the fuck it works. And I didn't know my process as to how I memorize shit. So I came in and I was like, ooh, maybe this is how, maybe this. And then like none of it stuck. So by the time when I got to Into the Woods and I was handed the Baker and the Mysterious Man, I could have gone on. Like I was like ready to fucking go if that was the possibility, you know? So
could have gone on for one person.
Listen, it would have been a really nice fucking the mysterious man, I would have been okay. The narrator, he has a book for a reason, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
But the Baker though, 100% ready. Could have done that shit in my sleep.
For sure. Well, there you go. I've taught you well. I've done what I can by probably scaring the shit out of you.
You did, because you texted
and I think
me.
Like, it kind of became times like near the end of the run being like, I would come in to the dressing room and be like, buddy, I don't feel too good.
And I turned my happy ass around and be
voice,
like,
I think.
that sucks, man. You better get out there. Great show. Break a leg.
No, you're not. Yeah. And I was joking.
I'll never forget after we had.
You did scare the shit because he would call me and he'd be like, Sean is saying that he might not be able to come on for tomorrow. I'm freaking out.
See,
it literally was April Fool's during that show. I had to do it.
It was fucked up.
Well, because I never forget, like the first time that I had ever understudied someone was at Beauty and the Beast at the Wick, and it was like my third professional show ever, and I was Gaston's understudy. And the second day when like the Gaston found out that I'm the understudy, he looks at me, like walks up very confidently and goes, I've never missed a show, learn my part or don't. And walks away.
Oh my God.
And so I was like, okay, I will never be that much of an asshole. So I was like, when I found out that Michael was my understudy, I was like, good. I won't be an asshole to him.
Someday.
But I'll torture him just a little.
bit. We had a nice time.
So, Sean, promote yourself. What do you got upcoming, buddy?
That you're allowed to talk about.
Yes. Thank you. I know. I'm like, what's going to get cut from this episode and what's not? Because man, did we ramble.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that I'm back from the good old cruise with Katie, we together, I feel like because we're a package deal now, we'll both be in Beautiful at the Maltz.
Yeah.
The Carole King musical. I know, very, very excited. It'll be my third time performing there. I really do like it there. I do think they do good work, and I think that they are a nice company, even though other people have thoughts. But I'm very excited for that show. I do think it's wonderful music, and I think in terms of like review shows, it's very well written. So I'll be one of the lower righteous brothers. We're just honestly just a tall, bassy man. And then I understudy Jerry Goffin, one of the lead guys.
Nice.
So it'll be a nice time.
Very nice.
So
very exciting.
Other than that, I don't know. I think Katie and I will try to go back on a boat after that contract if we can.
Yeah.
Love the South Florida theater community, but nothing really happens in the summertime. So
Yeah.
Fair
Get
enough.
out, go make some money, or
That's
or you can go elsewhere. I mean, somewhere around the country. I don't know.
Or you
right.
could do a
So
non-ec production of Grease for free.
Oh God.
oh god. So that's what I'm doing. Until then, it starts in a month. I'll probably just be working out and preparing myself for it.
Oh, yeah.
Like always, if anyone's still listening, if you didn't turn off 5 minutes in, or when I got to the plant story, if you're still listening, you like I'll always ask if like people can always work out with me. I always love that. So be my guest while I'm home. But yeah, that
Where can
runs,
they find you?
they can find me on the corner of Okeechobee Boulevard,
On Dixie Highway.
and Dixie Highway, in a beautiful mankini. They can find me on Instagram, and if they have my number, then they're allowed to work out with me. They know me well enough. How about that? But yeah, that's it. We run January 7th to the 28th. So a little bit of a run. It's already, if you're trying to get tickets, even though I know they're expensive, I think we're 95% sold out right now.
Holy shit.
And the show's in 2 months. Yeah. So
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And until then, that's it. I'll be listening to this podcast.
Wait to hear his fucking name. And then
I know. I feel
off.
like by the time that I like this comes out, Beautiful will already be done.
I mean,
episode 10, only 2 is out right now, so you got 8 more weeks, buddy.
wait. 3 is coming out tomorrow, but at the time that we're recording this. So sorry, folks, we're not recording this in real time.
Sorry to let you down.
The magic ruined. The magic's completely ruined.
Yeah. So Sean, shout out your Instagram handle. Like, say it so people can go follow you.
My Instagram is Sean William Davis. Not Williams, like you've been saying the entire time. Sean William Davis. That's it. I don't really post a lot. I need to get better at that.
Well, I'm glad you picked up on me saying Williams just to piss you off. And it worked. It's good.
Right.
I have my note
find me there.
written down to continue to say Williams right at the top of my note paper.
Before he's better though, because before he was never going to use your name just to trigger you and not mention your name in the entire podcast. He was just going to go by character roles or things like Handsome Squidward and like every other thing that like he could meme on you instead of using your actual name.
And I love you for it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you for having me on, guys. I don't know what the fuck is gonna come on in this podcast, but I hope that we're unhinged enough for these bloodthirsty listeners.
Yeah, all 3 of them. They're gonna be thrilled.
I know. Well, now that it's about me, you're gonna get 5. 1 for my mom and 1 for my religion teacher that sees everything that I'm in.
Yay!
Hell yeah! Welcome.
Right.
Hell yeah, religious teacher.
Shout out to you, my friend. All right.
That is one thing. I will say, I know you're gonna end it. You don't need to keep this in. We was doing a play in Island City called Star Maker with Clay Cartland, written by Michael Leeds. And Clay gets naked in it because Rock Hudson, this actor in the 50s, like got, I don't know, he got naked with skinny dipping and then he broke his collarbone. And so like, of course, they were like, he has to get naked on stage. And so like Clay being Clay was like, even though if I don't like it, I will drop trow. And so like he got naked. And did I buy my religion teacher like 2nd row seats directly in front of where that happens? Yes. So
you are an evil man.
His religion.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
God damn it. All right. Well, on that note, Sean, thank you so much for coming on, buddy. It was a pleasure having you.
Of course.
I've wanted this one since
we
episode 1. We love you very mucho. And
thank you
know, non-ec nonsense is just, we're trucking along 10 episodes in. Thank you for joining us for this wild and crazy ride. Episodes are still coming out on Mondays. So this is Michael Matadomini signing off.
This is Catgold signing off, and
Handsome Squidward signing off.
Handsome Squidward, Sean William Davis. There he is. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining Nonic Nonsense, and we will see you around. Be blessed. Be safe. No COVID.